Tourism iyoyo mu Zimbabwe iri kunaka. Tourism iyoyo ande iri kunaka.
This message is brought to you by the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority. Zimbo. Every journey leads you home. Uripi. Ungapi.
Season's greetings and a prosperous new year from TM Pick and Pay. It's time for the news.
Good evening and welcome to the news at 8. I am Mandipa Mcheche with Susan Masona at our sign language desk.
And I'm Justin Mahlahla. Later on, we shall be joined by other servants from our Montrose studios. But for now, let's take a look at the leading stories tonight.
Government assures families rescue efforts will continue at Redwing Mine in Penalonga.
About 15 miners were trapped after a mine shaft collapsed on Thursday.
In business, environmental, social and governance issues to form part of listed companies reports beginning this year.
And later on in sport, rain stopped play in Colombo as Zimbabwe versus Sri Lanka match ends with a no contest.
In our first story, government has assured the families of the miners trapped underground at Redwing Mine that rescue efforts will continue following a directive by the Minister of Mines and Mining Development for Metal and Gold to suspend operations at the mine.
The acting Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable July Moyo, said in a statement, rescue efforts will continue following the directive by the Minister of Mines and Mining Development for Metal and Gold to suspend operations at the mine. He says the government has activated civil protection structures to deal with the critical matter of search and rescue at the mine, with the Minister of Mines and Mining Development leading a team of experts including from Freda Rebecca Gold Mine. Manicaland Acting Director Local Government Services Mr. John Missy and one of the rescue team members Wallace Gotora have welcomed the support.
Rescue operations dziri kuendera mberi. Tawanawo rubatsiro from Rebecca and Zimplats. Saka vabatana ne rescue team yepa Redwing Mine. Saka pari zvino vakwanisa kuestablisha makuriro akaita nzvimbo yakaafectwa nekundengendeka ikoko about 4.2 hectares. Saka rescue teams are underground sekutaura kwati kutoita izvozvi basa riri kuitwa. Saka hama dzedu dzose ngative nemoyo murefu. Basa iri harisi nyore sekuona kwatiri kuita nekuti nzvimbo yavari kushandira yacho inzvimbo ine movements iri kudengenyeka.
Kufarira kuti sabu zvatati kuda kuti tishandise zvacho zvabva zvauya handiti. Saka zvauya kuda kutobuda kwandaita ini pasi nyaya kuti zvinhu zvanga zvashota. Saka zvatachida zvacho zvabva zvauya. Saka inini I think there is hope yekuti mangwana chaicho chatofana kunge takutanga kunosvika pachitiko pakadonha pacho ndo patofana kuti mangwana tinge takufukunyura.
Family members of the trapped miners are worried about the fate of their relatives.
Nifunzira kuti vanhu vanogona vakabuda nogona vari vapenyu. Asi kune kuda kunonokerwa kurikuitwa apa. Tinogona kuona kuti vanhu vanogona kuparara.
Chichemo chedu ndechekuti nguva yatorwa yati rebei nekuti time yavari kuramba varimo suffocation nezvimwe zvinoitika imomo tinenge tisingazivi nekuti degree rekudonha kwakaita mugodhi uri kuramba uchidonha asi dai tawana rubatsiro nekukurumidza vanhu vaigona kubudiswa vari vapenyu.
Maefforts ari kuitiwa apa akanaka nekuti kubvira nezuro varipo vari kubatsira nemitiro vari kuita zviri right. Saka chichemo chekuti dai Mwari vanga vapindira nokuti ini ndine vanin'ina 4 vari mukati umu.
saka ndo chikumbiro changu chandiri kunyatsochema nacho kuti dei chero dzimwe nyika dzapindirawo kuti vakwanise kuti vabude mukati.
The Redwing Mine shaft collapsed on Thursday, trapping about 15 people underground. Kenya's Chivuje, ZBC News, Mutasa.
We'll continue following developments at Redwing Mine and we'll be giving you updates as they come in. The Second Republic has set sights on meeting the local demand for milk by the year 2025, with emphasis now on maximizing the production of feed for dairy cattle, among other measures. Tafara Chikumira was in Kwekwe and he sent us the following report.
The country currently produces 100 million liters of milk annually and is aiming to close the 30 million liter deficit by next year to ensure self-sustenance. It emerged during the tour of Den Dairy Farm in Kwekwe that the Second Republic has crafted a raft of measures to boost dairy farming production in the country.
We are seeing lucerne, a production here which lowers the cost of milk to 48.50 cents per liter compared to conventionally up to 70 when you are purchasing. That is why we would like to see more of this grown on an industrial scale. Farmers that are able to focus solely on producing feed so that the smallholder are able to purchase appropriately priced feed so that it becomes a business at that level. So we'd like the chiefs to come and see the sort of investment that is coming into their area. And attendant to that, the communities themselves, we are going to be developing 1,500 hectares of irrigation under the presidential Vision 2030 accelerator model. So there will be a win-win situation for the investor and the communities.
Stakeholders in the dairy sector say they are geared to complement government's efforts in ensuring the growth of the industry.
We're producing 280,000 litres a month, and in the next 2 years I'm hoping to go up to about 350,000. If all goes well, maybe more, I don't know. To increase fertility, animal health, that's the first step. You get animal health right, you get good breeding, good genetics, and that increases the milk.
We've embarked on heifer breeding to increase the number of milking cows in the country, and also we are trying to do on farm feed, so that we can reduce the cost of production per litre by encouraging our farmers to grow silage, to grow lucerne, so that we can reduce the cost of production.
The Second Republic has embarked on a massive agriculture revival plan, with the dairy subsector expected to play a significant role for the industry as part of Vision 2030. Tafara Chikumira, ZBC News, Kwekwe.
The $22.5 million United States retooling facility for industry has been operationalized to increase output in strategic value chains.
The funding is part of the $80 million United States set aside by the government from the over $900 million United States special drawing rights Zimbabwe received from the International Monetary Fund (IMF) in 2021. Therefore, the Minister of Industry and Commerce revealed in a statement over the weekend that the industry retooling and replacement for the Value Chain Recovery Fund is operational. Leather, cotton and pharmaceutical firms have been allocated the biggest chunk of the facility at over $10 million United States. Other sectors that are also accessing the funds include fertilizer and agro-processing entities. Participating financial institutions for the facility are FBC, CBZ, KEBS, AFC, ZB Bank, Steward, and EcoBank. The development is being made when several firms are investing in new machinery and commissioning new plants. Government, through the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, has therefore pledged support to companies seeking to access funds under the facility. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
Government has embarked on an operation to improve Harare's hygienic conditions that include clearing of waste dumps in the wake of rising cholera cases.
Government has cited poor sanitation and unhygienic conditions in the Harare Metropolitan Province that include poor waste management and lack of potable water as some of the major causes of cholera cases in the capital. It is in this vein that government has embarked on a 7-day waste management blitz codenamed Operation Chenesa Harare to clear all waste dumps and improve water sanitation in the capital. The development was confirmed by Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services Minister Dr. Jenfan Muskwere during a media briefing in Harare this Saturday.
Riding on the emergent solid waste management program, guided by Statutory Instrument 140 of 2023, following the declaration of state of disaster in Harare Metropolitan Province, government has embarked on a number of initiatives from the water side, water reticulation side, infrastructure development, the financing of a number of initiatives, as well as the technical interventions in different sectors that affect Harare. So we have an Operation Chenesa Harare. This has been necessitated by the challenges or by the failure or the deficit from the leadership from the city of Harare as a council which has failed to be in a position to provide the requisite water infrastructure, to be able to provide the requisite health services across Harare Metropolitan Province.
Youth and Child Care Minister Dr. Douglas Mombeshora said government is also mobilizing resources for the procurement of water treatment chemicals to ensure adequate supply of potable water.
The first intervention has been necessitated at the level of removing solid waste. I'm sure all of you, if you travel, if you move around the city of Harare, you see piles and piles of garbage. We are also moving on to the next stage where we want to provide clean water, clean potable water. And government is moving in to mobilize resources to procure water treatment chemicals, which will be supplied to the city of Harare so that they can provide more potable water. Currently, I'm informed that the supply of potable water has dropped from 350 megaliters per day to 200 megaliters per day. So it has to be improved.
In August last year, government declared a state of disaster in solid waste management for Harare Metropolitan Province after failure by the city fathers to provide adequate services. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Still on matters of waste disposal, strict control of industrial processes and recycling have been cited as critical to ensure proper disposal of electronic waste.
Technological advancement has seen countries facing challenges of managing e-waste. Information technology experts and environmentalists in Zimbabwe are encouraging citizens to adopt proper disposal of electronic waste to reduce e-waste pollution. IT experts who spoke to this crew this Friday believe strict control of industrial process and recycling is critical in reducing formation of dioxins. Dioxins are a group of chemically related compounds that are persistent environmental pollutants.
There's already the repair market, so if more and more young people get into the repairs market, because to learn to repair a computer or a smartphone or a television it's not a very complicated skill, something that someone can learn. Even someone who is not educated can actually learn that. So that's the first thing. And also we can have refurbishment facilities within, let's say, here in Zimbabwe, where we are refurbishing these gadgets and we're employing these people to do, these young people to do that job of refurbishing the gadgets. And we can also talk about recycling. So we can employ, young people can be employed, let's say, from collection of the gadgets. We can also be employed in these facilities where recycling is being done.
Digital technology has helped industries become global, more connected, efficient, and productive, as well as creating employment, especially in developing countries like Zimbabwe. Lead and mercury are some of the common substances released into the environment posing several adverse impacts on human health, with children and pregnant women being the most vulnerable.
A number of ways that you are realizing has got dangerous chemicals like your mercury that is in the e-waste, and it's actually affecting a number of children who get exposed to those e-waste in the dump sites that are sprouting all over our communities. And not only that, but you then realize that the increasing importation of second-hand e-gadgets has contributed negatively to the generation of e-waste in Zimbabwe.
In 2019, an estimated 53.6 million tons of e-waste were produced globally, but only 17.4% was documented as formally collected and recycled. The International Labour Organization and the World Health Organization estimate that millions of women and children working in the informal recycling sector around the world may be at risk of e-waste exposure.
Now let's talk about the gadgets that we keep. And if you are a parent with a child who has had access to the internet, you want to pay close attention to the following report. Concerns have been raised over the increase in online child sexual exploitation as digital access increases. More in the following report by Farai Gwaze.
Recent findings by the Zimbabwe Institute of Communication Technology highlights an increase in reports on child sexual exploitation as adolescents are unknowingly lured online by pedophiles masquerading as young teenagers.
These cyber criminals, pedophilias, have realized that a lot of youngsters, especially following COVID, have got access to mobile devices, the internet, or anything that provides them with access to be online. And these pedophilias have actually decided that they present themselves as young boys or young girls, handsome, and then they get in touch with our fellow young Zimbabwean boys or Zimbabwean girls presenting themselves as young kids. They groom them into such a way that they become friendly. And when they become friendly, then they become somehow lovers with these youngsters. They chat them up. The youngsters think I've got a young boyfriend or I've got a young girlfriend.
Lack of adequate supervision and knowledge of the internet by parents and guardians has been cited as the major cause of the scourge.
There is what is called the dark net. The dark net is one area that parents are not quite aware of. And it is vital that parents go and research what the dark net is, know what is happening on the dark net so that they know what the dark net is, because that's where majority of some of these pedophilias are playing around on.
Founder of a women and child care organization, Mr. Tawanda Chiremba, believes socio-economic challenges and peer pressures have had a strong influence on the rising cases of child sexual exploitation, especially among marginalized groups.
We also have a lot of cases that are being reported to us whereby a lot of children are being influenced by their friends due to peer pressure to date some they call them sugar daddies so that they can have cell phones or even money.
According to Women and Child Care Organization, 12 cases of online child sexual exploitation have been recorded in Mashonaland East, 10 in Manicaland Province, 2 in Bulawayo, 3 in Mashonaland Central, and 12 in Harare Province during 2023. Farai Gwaze, ZBC News, Harare.
Well, Madiba, it looks like there is a big gap between what parents know and what children know on the internet, and that is not good.
That's very true, Justin. It is important for parents and guardians to monitor what their children are exposed to on the internet, as the web is surely getting darker and darker by the day.
Certainly.
In our next story, widows from Mashonaland West Province are the latest beneficiaries of First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa's income-generating projects.
It was a joyous occasion for thousands of widows in Mashonaland West Province this Friday as patron of the First Ladies Widows Association, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa unveiled an assortment of goods to widows comprising cooking oil, sugar, flour, beans, cornflakes, snacks, instant noodles, bottled water, goats, and farming inputs for them to kickstart small-scale retailing in their respective districts. The program, which is aimed at economically empowering the vulnerable group against the shocks of widowhood, saw women from Hurungwe, Kariba, Chegutu, Zimba, Mangura, Chinoi, and Mondoro benefiting. The event was also marked by the setting up of committees for each district to oversee issues affecting widows in conjunction with the Ministry of Women Affairs, Community, Small and Medium Enterprises Development. From the onset of the initiative, members of the First Ladies Widows Association have embarked on various income-generating projects, including poultry, farming, dressmaking, weaving, peanut butter making, confectionery, among others, catered of the First Lady. Dr. Mnangagwa also led a cleanup exercise at Fupa General Stadium as part of the National Cleaning Day, which falls on the first Friday of every month, where she urged citizens to be environmental stewards in the wake of a cholera outbreak. Together with community members, they planted the fever Acacia moonga, which is the tree of the year. Against a backdrop of climate change, the environment patron urged people to refrain from cutting down trees, outlining benefits that can be derived from trees.
Taenda kunodzvara miti gore rega rega tine miti yatinopa zita iwe hazvina mhosva kuti pamwe waushaya asi dzvara miti paunogara. Muti ndo unotibatsira kuti tinge zvatiri izvozvizvi tine ukama nemasango, tine ukama nemhuka dzesango, tine ukama neuswa chaiwo kuti tive zvatiri. Ndizvozvi zvatakapuwa naMwari Nyadenga kuti upenyu hwedu hunge unobatika.
During her interface with the widows, the mother of the nation emphasized the need for women to work hard, be self-sufficient, and lead exemplary lives. In the spirit of leaving no one behind, widowers were also part of the event, and Dr. Mnangagwa said she is also incorporating them into the association.
Ndinoda kukutendai kuti nhasi tauya futi kuno kuti tizoona nokufambisa dare redu iri re-First Ladies Widows Association. Donzve iri rinoda kupindwa nevanoda, rinoda kupindwa nevanhu vebasa, iyemi madzimai nana baba vakashayikirwa namadzimai. Saka handina wandinosiya, baba ivavo ndati nhasi vauye vagoshandira mhuri naivo vane mhuri dzavo, asi ndinoda madzimai ane hunhu akadzikama madzimai. Saka unoda kumira paprojekti une uchokwadi, usiramai mbavha. Kana ndichiti mbavha hausi kutora murume wemunhu, nekuti ipapo uchikuita projekti unotipa zita rakaipa. Saka projekti yacho ndeyei mai vapedza varume vevanhu. Chionai mazita atinowana ipapo navana. Kana mai vasina kumira zvakanaka, mwana musikana yeye hachatobatika, ari kunoputsa zvakare imba yavamwe amai. Saka handidi kuti munge muchipiwa mazita ane rushoro kusvika pakadaro.
A chaplain Christian Piri from the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Services and evangelist Nelly Gwatidzo, who accompanied the First Lady, gave impressive advice to widows.
Amai vari kuti bawa hari bhadhare, chinobhadhara kushanda namavoko. Wobva vaita maprograms woti shirikadzi dzangu huyai handei tinoshanda. Sumuka uite chinonzi chako. Zvimirirei. Bvisai mweya wekusiririsa. Amai vari kuti shanda. Credit yekudzidzisa vana iswe pauri. Munhu kana aine mwana wake, iye ndiye atova mudzidzisi wemwana. Nekuti ukatadza kudzidzisa mwana wako, kune nyika yakamirira kumudzidzisa zvisizvo. Mwana anotofundiswa namai vake, nekuti ndiro basa rimwe ramakapinda musi wamakachema baba vake. Ramba nemwana wako, chengetedza mwana wako.
The widows expressed gratitude to Amai Mnangagwa for spearheading various income-generating projects which are sustaining their livelihoods.
Inini ndakapinda chirongwa ichi cheuchirikadzi nekuona kuti ukashandisa maoko ako unobudirira ende unochengeta mhuri. Hauna kana wana anombokuvenga pano kuswera uchinzi watora murume wangu. Maoko ndo murume mkuru kuchiteerera Mwari. Tinotenda amai.
ndinotenda mai Auxilia Mnangagwa nebasa ravari kutiitira. Ini neproject yandiri kuita yeroad runner nemabushville ndinokrosa ndega huku idzi ndona maprojects amai achatisimudzira kuti haticharamba tiri vepasi, ticharamba tiri vepamhando yepamusoro-soro.
Speaking at the same occasion, beneficiaries of the Angel of Hope Foundation, Zimbabwe Open University academic short courses paid glowing tribute to the First Lady. To date, over 46,000 disadvantaged people from across the country have undertaken various courses in agriculture, computers, nurse aid, palliative care for the elderly, and counseling, among others.
Ndimai vakandisimudzira kubva muhurombe macertificates andauya nawo kuti indakaita standard 6 mbo kare vabereki vakava vasingadzidzisi vanakadzi, asi ndakaitiswa kuchikoro namai ndikafunda namafomu 6. Nhasi ndine zvinhu zvangu. Ndakaita kutanga kuchikoro kuita agriculture nezoo neangel of hope ndichibva ndichiita counseling ndokumba ndazotora certificate yo-ECD. Ndine 12 teachers pandiri panapa. Ndakadzidziswa namai kuti usagarira maoko.
Kuti ndive zvandiri nhasi ndiamai. Ini ndakaita ECD course ndikagraduata 2021 kuEquity Local Board. Ndakafunga kuopena ECD center yangu ndikatanga nevana 5 including vangu 2. Ndakakwanisa kuregister ECD center yangu neMinistry of Education. Iko zvino kutaura kwandiri kuita vana vawandisa pachikoro pangu ndakaona zvakakodzera kuti ndichagovana nherera nevanotambudzika kuti ndivadzidzise mahara ndichiritena kundidzidzisa kwamakandiita.
Through her Angel of Hope Foundation, Amai Mnangagwa has embarked on numerous initiatives to empower vulnerable groups, including widows, by implementing entrepreneurship programs to make them financially independent. The Mother of the Nation is also working tirelessly to ensure the rights of widows are upheld through an inheritance awareness program. The First Ladies Widows Association will be implemented in all the country's provinces, and a national conference for widows is on the cards. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Chegutu.
For more news, you can log on to our website www.zbcnews.co.zw. You can also visit our X handle at ZBC News Online and our Facebook page, ZBC News Online.
You can also like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at ZBC News Online, as well as on our WhatsApp channel at ZBC News Online. And here are stories still to expect in this bulletin. In business, environmental, social, and governance issues to form part of listed companies' reports beginning this year.
And in sport, rain stopped play in Colombo as Zimbabwe versus Sri Lanka match ends with a no contest. Main News takes a break. Do join us shortly.
Levels Production. Hello? Wadi? Wada Gupi? Uripi? Inyanga? Uripi? Kariba? Oh, une boys. Uriku Victoria Boys. Ugre Zimbabwe. Chinoy Girls. Macho Boss. Itori Zimbabwe. Muzimbabwe iri kunaka. Itori Zimbabwe.
This message is brought to you by the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority. Zimbo. Every journey leads you home. Uripi. Ungapi.
Zimbabweans are resilient people. We've been through thick and thin, keep thriving, and rebuilding our businesses. Even though we have these challenges. In 2018, We set up a shop in Gweru. We then asked MultiChoice to come and accredit us. We went in for a 2-week training at MultiChoice. We learned the system, how it works and how we use it to serve clients, and we got our accreditation. MultiChoice has managed to create employment for the local community. Since we've partnered with them, we employ 10 extra people, and I believe those 10 people also support their families. We need to have generational wealth, that we give our kids more opportunities and they can also give their kids more opportunities. I would like to say thank you so much to MultiChoice. I wouldn't be where I am today.
Life is a precious gift, more precious than silver and gold. Parties and alcohol, with road traffic accidents happening every 15 minutes and at least one person dying every 4 hours in Zimbabwe every day. More die over weekends and public holidays. Take heed. Remember your loved ones. Don't drink and drive this festive season. This message is brought to you by the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 8. Mashonaland Central Province has demonstrated unity of purpose in the fight against cholera amid an increase in the number of cases and 2 deaths reported on Thursday.
Mashonaland Central Province has recorded an increase in cholera cases after 35 new cases were reported in 5 districts as of Friday, while Mbire and Mzarabani districts recorded 2 deaths. Stakeholders are, however, making concerted efforts to mitigate the spread of the disease, with non-governmental organizations comprising Tsuchi and Gift of the Givers handing over goods to government for use by cholera patients.
We've come to support our local government and the province in this cholera fight. We are doing as much as we can to try and supply whatever aid we can in terms of hygiene packs and foodstuffs.
We have to ensure that we assist in situations like these, and we appreciate the help which has been given by a lot of NGOs.
Minister of State for Mashonaland Central, Honorable Christopher Magomo, applauded the progressive partnership between government and civil society to alleviate the situation.
The situation in Mazoe is quite bad, as the numbers are quite increasing on a daily basis. I have to applaud donations from other NGOs. There is a lot that is being done on the ground. We have water and sanitation, hygiene, that's wash, being upgraded. We are having bores being drilled, reader taking action to making sure that water is provided.
The Ministry of Health and Childcare has since turned Tsongovi Clinic in Glendale into a fully fledged cholera camp to counter rising cases in Mazoe district, which is the epicenter of the outbreak. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Mazoe.
A fight for a twist of Daha ended tragically after a 23-year-old man from Berengwa was allegedly assaulted to death by his friends.
2 men from Berengwa who allegedly attacked and killed their friend after fighting over a twist of Mbanje have been arrested. Tawedzerwa Mahole, 21, and Wilfred Chuma, 20, are accused of assaulting to death their friend Legejani Gumbo, 23, who had allegedly swallowed a twist of Mbanje they intended to smoke together. The 2 suspects now face charges of murder. In another case, police have launched a manhunt for a Mukuru employee who allegedly went missing with over 15,000 United States dollars in cash meant for disbursement to clients in Kariba. 23-year-old Blessed Shaneta is said to have disappeared with the cash on the 1st of this month. And in other matters, police arrested 2 men who have been on the wanted list since 2021. A suspected carjacker, Prince Gwanua, 34, was arrested after trying to evade a police checkpoint in Bulawayo. Upon being taken to the police station, it was discovered he was on the police wanted list for car theft. Regobert Joseph, 23, who was also wanted by the police for unlawful entry cases since 2021, ran out of luck following his arrest in Harare earlier this week. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
And we now cross over to our Montrose studios in Bulawayo, where we are joined by Arthur C. Evans, who will give us the next couple of stories from that end. Good evening, Arthur.
Well, thank you so much, Justin, and to the team at Pocket Hill. It's wonderful to be with you in 2024. No twists in our first story because it's climate proof. Farmers who adopted the climate-proof Intwasa Pfumvudza as well as soil conservation programs in the Shangani area of Matabeleland South Province have something to cheer about this year despite the lean summer cropping season.
While the false start to the summer cropping season due to erratic rains received in Matabeleland South and other parts of the country has already created anxiety among conventional farmers on dry land, there is a silver lining for farmers in Shangani area of Insiza district who adopted soil conservation and climate-smart agriculture. For Gogo Gloria and her husband Kulusha Ndlovu, whose green maize crop is not showing any signs of failure, early planting and mulching did the magic and prospects of a good harvest are high.
Thina ezandleni siphiwe siyacabanga ukuthi sihle siqalele ukulima ngoba sivele sibabili sibe sesichawuka jombo.
Ngavele ngikwazi ukuthi nana ise plant season senhle ngifaka phansi. Ngikhohle ukuthi kumbe ngikhumbule ukuthi inhlanyelo ngizabuya ngithenge inye ngifake. Lokho ukuthi ngime kuze kumelele izulu elizachiyo ngabanye abantu.
The local leadership is convinced the adoption of agroecological and specific cropping systems tailor-made for the prevailing climatic conditions in the area may be the answer.
We have always done small grains. If you go to Bridget at the moment, their sorghum is almost tussling. So we will continue to promote small grains in order to avoid to address the El Nino phenomenon that is within us.
The Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Water, Fisheries and Rural Development, Dr. Inshas Masuga, who is on a nationwide tour to appreciate the summer cropping season, is convinced the country may salvage something in this lean season.
The visit to Matabeleland South has been very pleasing because we noted that using the conservation intensive model Pfumvudza Intwasa, it is possible to produce even when the rains are lower than expected. And clearly today we have seen that that is the way to go, and we want 100% adoption of Pfumvudza Intwasa because now we've proven that this is the way of farming.
Government adopted the climate-proof Pfumvudza Intwasa program to build resilience against climate change. The system is producing tangible results nationally. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News in Caesar District.
Speaking of systems that do work, school heads from Zhishavan and Runde districts have been implored to take the competence-based curriculum seriously for the benefit of learners as the nation drives towards achieving an upper middle-class economy by 2030.
Promotion of a reading culture and taking seriously the competence-based curriculum so as to improve the district's grade 7 pass rate were topical this Saturday when government officials, legislators and school heads converged in Zhishavane. Speaking on the sidelines of the workshop, Zhishavane District Education Officer Mr. Luke Matutu noted that the engagement gave the school heads a platform to interact, exchange notes and information on how to improve learning standards in the district.
We feel that when people are together at a workshop, they can then cross-pollinate ideas and then ensure that they improve on their performance.
After handing over a consignment of books to various primary schools in the district, Zhishavane Runde legislator Honorable Freddy Moyo reiterated that the donation will play a vital role in improving the reading culture among students.
I think it's a tonic to say to ourselves, we need to get our students, our children, to acquire a reading culture. How do they do it? They can't do it online because they are in the rural areas, there is no connectivity, and at least if they get their hands on some textbook of some sort, not only those related to their subject, but just a book, a reading culture. But long term, I think we should set up a district library.
Meanwhile, teachers from rural institutions have been employed to be technically advanced in order to bridge the learning gap between rural and urban learners. Karajushe, ZBC News, Sishawane.
The plight of adolescent pregnant girls came under the spotlight this Saturday in Bulawayo during a training workshop targeted at equipping media practitioners with gender-sensitive reporting skills.
The training, rolled out by civil society organizations, brought to the fore how girls tend to be affected economically by the detrimental consequences of teenage pregnancy.
These young ladies have a right to education. So even if they have fallen pregnant and they've dropped out of school, we need to find a way to keep them in school so that they can finish their education, they can learn vocational skill, so that they can also then begin their lives as adults. They are able to do productive lives. I think what is even more important is that because they have children now, and the fathers of the children have disappeared from them, most of them, I think it is important that they have an economic activity.
Project coordinator for the Adolescent Mothers Education Initiative project, Ms. Memories Banda, says the issue of pregnancy among teenage girls is not unique to Zimbabwe. It is a global challenge that needs to be discussed so that when policies are crafted, it is taken into consideration.
These issues around pregnant girls and adolescent mothers, they are not affecting Zimbabwe only, they are also affecting even at global level. So we need to discuss such issues so that when crafting policies, these issues are also taken into consideration.
Poverty, breakdown of moral fiber, cultural as well as religious practices have been cited as some of the factors fueling teenage pregnancy. Lisa Masu, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
My name is Arthur C. Evans for the Montrose News Desk. We take you back to Pocket Hill for more news.
Thank you, Arthur. The late Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation Public Relations Officer and news presenter Bridget Sibanda Madzimure, who died on Wednesday, was laid to rest at Zororo Cemetery in Harare this Saturday.
Family members, colleagues from the media fraternity, as well as fellow congregants from AFM in Zimbabwe Church paid their last respects to Madzimure, who was recognized by many as a free-spirited hard worker who always showed determination to help others. Family members said Bridget has left them a legacy of love.
Bridget angari mwana ane rudo. Mama ndi mama, hakuna mainini, hakuna maiguru. Gogo ndi gogo. Haimbofa akadaidza kuti mama maipuro kana kuti mama maita, mama ndi mama. Acharasikirwa kana mumhuri. Meno kuda vakagona kuti vateedzere Bridget.
Sisi biyongari munhu aifara. Nyangu mukatsamwidzana semasiblings taitombodzamwidzana kutotukana chaiko. But aisaramba akatsamwirira kuti wazondidai kana zvaitopera pamunozona the following day anenge akutoti ko wazoita sei angari munhu kuti she was very caring.
CBA ngove munhu aizvifarira vavasina time yekutsamwa plus munhu aingova nerudo kumunhu wese asingasarudze kuti regardless kuti wakaita sei.
Colleagues said Bridget's work ethic was impeccable.
Ndakashanda na Bridget ku National Languages Department for 10 years. Ndiye munhu akanga ari cooperative kudarika vese. Waituka mukumbira kuti ndikumburoti uye kuzonditira shift yakati kubasa. Aiuya chero iri weekend.
Madzimure ndaimuziva munhu aifara nevamwe. Aita go out of your way kuita kuti vanhu vave comfortable. ndambosangana naye kuchiredzi last year 2023 for World Radio Day. Ndakanzwa kusununguka nokuti munhu haipa mazano futi kana munenge pachanyora ma-stories.
Bridget Madzimure succumbed to a lung condition at the age of 38. She is survived by her husband.
Missed. Today marks the 3rd anniversary of the 2021 Capitol Hill protests, and indications are that many Americans have been losing faith in the political system, capabilities, and trustworthiness of the country's government, a key issue as America heads for elections this year.
Analysts say the 2024 presidential election in the United States is bound to have huge significance, both domestically and internationally, as incumbent President Joe Biden and his predecessor Donald Trump, who has vowed to run for president, clash over a wide range of domestic and international issues. This and the remnants of the January 6, 2021 Capitol Hill riots that have said to have been sparked by former U.S. President Donald Trump seem to have impact on this year's November polls. Public opinion in the United States believes that political polarization in the country is intensifying, and the partisan conflicts have been leading the country into dangers.
I think it has huge significance both domestically and internationally. Domestically, it's in terms of the policy direction of the country, everything from abortion to the economics to immigration to law enforcement. Globally, it's very significant because Donald Trump is strongly against the NATO alliance and the world order the way it is. He also is close to Vladimir Putin. And so it could be a real change in the way America presents itself in the world.
Residents say their lives have been impacted due to social problems like hatred, racial discrimination, gun violence, and inflation.
Throughout the world, that these activities of hate and racism and being in control of the humanity.
I think that it's scary to know that there's so much animosity within our own government, and we just want people to be able to come to a good understanding for us as people.
The first and final rounds of presidential debates of the 2024 U.S. presidential election are scheduled for mid-September and October respectively, with polls on November 5.
Next, we take a look at business, but first, we go for a break.
Everybody's favorite fried chicken is closer than you think. Now you don't have to travel far for your finger-licking fix. The home of the original recipe chicken is growing and moving into your hood. Look out for our new restaurants and we'll KFC you soon.
No Sticks Group of Schools, the first and only STEM school in Zimbabwe, congratulates Dr. Gracious Zico, our former A-level graduate who scored 15 CAIE points and 20 ZIMSEC points for graduating with a first class, one of only 2 first-class graduates from UZ School of Medicine. We also congratulate engineer Ropafadzo Nyemba, our former A-level graduate who scored 15 CAIE points and 20 ZIMSEC points for graduating from the UZ with a first-class honors degree in engineering. No Sticks Group of Schools footprints are found in universities around the world. China, Germany, the United States of America, in Zambia, Malawi, etc. No Sticks, gold standard purified by fire.
Welcome back. Zimbabwe's listed companies will, with effect from this year, include environmental, social, and governance issues within their financial statements in line with global trends.
Under the Environment, Social and Governance ESG regulations, the listed firms will now include information on treatment of the environment in which they operate, corporate or social responsibility issues, human resources, and a board of director structures. The directive is being made on the realization that listed companies should provide all the relevant aspects relating to their performances apart from just announcing profits, dividends, and losses to shareholders. Chartered Governance and Accountants Institute in Zimbabwe Chief Executive Officer Dr. Love Mogomera explains the importance of complying with the new regulations.
It is a growing importance of sustainability reporting that companies observe environmental social governance in terms of how they report their financial well-being of the company and how the company is going about its business for the benefit of communities.
With most entities also being expected to release their financial statements by March this year, market watchers are waiting to assess whether the firms will include the new requirements.
It is important that companies do that because the factors that have led to the profits or otherwise in terms of business would be disclosed and stakeholders would actually know how the company has been faring in terms of climate, in terms of environment, in terms of protecting even the communities, etc. So it's no longer business as usual where you didn't just report on figures and profits and so on or losses, but it's how you got to bring about the profit and the value that you are bringing out.
Regulatory authorities have maintained their stance on the ESG regulations as they seek to attract global capital inflows. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
We'll be back after this break. Do stay with us.
The Liquor Licensing Board under the Ministry of Local Government and Public Works is now accepting renewals for the fiscal year 2024 to 2025. Remember, all applications are done online at zimeservices.pfms.gov.zw. Simply attach A. Copy of the current license, B. ZBC radio or TV license, which is available at any ZBC office nationwide, and C. Health inspection report. For a liquor license, you need the following: 1. Letter of approval by local authority. 2. Health inspection report. 3. Copy of the approved plan. 4. Evidence of right of occupation. 5. Proof of publication in the Government Gazette and in the local paper LG1. 6. Affidavit. 7. Certified ID or passport for the licensee and the manager. 8. Company resolution and CR14 form. 9. Police clearance for the licensee and the manager. For more information, contact 0242 704 571. Renew your liquor license and watch your business grow.
You're still watching the news at 8. We now take a look at sport. The first one-day international match between Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka ended in no contest after the play at Colombo was stopped by the rains this Saturday.
The Chevrons began the new season with action as they are touring Sri Lanka for the limited over series. despite failing to qualify for the T20 and ODI World Cups that will be staged in the United States and co-hosted by the West Indies. The Zimbabwe cricket team yet to return to the field for a different assignment. The batting and bowling business began with the one-day international match at Premadasa Stadium as Sri Lanka won the toss and chose to bat against Zimbabwe. In the allotted 50 overs, the Wasps yet posted 273 runs for a loss of 9 wickets, leaving Zimbabwe to chase a target of 274 runs. At the time to respond, the tourists had gone for 4 overs and yet only posted 12 runs as the match got delayed with the rains intercepting the play. And while waiting for the rains to stop and clear up the wetland, Walter Chawaguta's charges were in need of 262 runs in 46 overs to win. The match ended without a result as it was abandoned. And meanwhile, the two sides will return to the field for the second ODI on Monday next week before concluding the 50-over format 3 days later. After a 2-day break, Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka will also play 3 T20 internationals slated for the 14th of this month.
Former champions Egypt and Ghana headline Group B at the upcoming 2023 Africa Cup of Nations that begins in Cote d'Ivoire next week.
It's a week to go as the clock counts down to kick off the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire, which runs from the 13th of this month to the 11th of February. Group B comprises of a record 7-time champions Egypt, 4-time winners Ghana, Cape Verde and Mozambique. The group is likely to be led by the 7-time champions who have gone on a 13-year drought and have been on the hunt for the cup since 2010. The last edition finalists seem to be the favorites and serious title contenders, having reached the final in 2 previous editions and are up for business. The Pharaohs will likely look to Liverpool's Mohamed Salah and Arsenal's Mohamed Elneny for inspiration. Another main challenger, Ghana, who were back then a force to reckon with, head into the continental scene with the high hopes to get back on track after an early elimination in the group stage of the 2021 edition. The Black Stars are targeted to present themselves in a better condition with the former English Premier League manager Chris Hughton in charge. The Irish Chargers will be led by skipper Andrea Ayew, the son of legend Abedi Pele Ayew. The 4-time champions hope to get the groove back after last winning the AFCON in 1982, and in recent times they have been a pale shadow of themselves. Since finishing as runners-up in 2015, the success in the national team had been critical. Cape Verde are a surprise package and most of their players are based in Portugal. The Blue Sharks are set to give what it takes to bring out a colourful performance after the rain riot against Burkina Faso in the qualifiers to earn a ticket to Cote d'Ivoire. The last in the group are the Southern Africa's representative Mozambique, who bounced back in the tournament after missing out in the past 6 competitions. The Mambas return as the underdogs of the group as they make their 5th appearance since 2010, where they produced their best in the first round. Going into the current business, Group B opens with a match between Egypt and Mozambique, billed for the 14th of this month, while on the same day, Ghana will face the group outsiders Cape Verde. On the 18th, there are mouth-watering clashes of the Titans in Group A as Cote d'Ivoire and Nigeria meet, while Group B will be highlighted by the Egypt versus Ghana match. Anna Shemrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
Still in sport, long-distance runner Isaac Mpofu, who qualified for the Paris 2024 Olympics, has set his eyes on winning medals at the Games as he steps up preparations.
Mpofu qualified for the Games at the Valencia Marathon in Spain in December 2022 with a qualifying record time of 2 hours, 6 minutes, 48 seconds. The Bulawayo-born Mpofu is excited about representing his country and hopes to also give back to the community through training youngsters in track events.
So far, the preparations are going very well. No complaints so far, everything is all right. I'm also in a good state. The objectives are to at least be in top 10 or just to obtain any medal if possible. It's just they must listen to their coaches, train harder in order to achieve their goals.
Budding athletes who are being trained by Mpofu are excited at the opportunities that the track provides.
Athletics imbonani ainganchaka chana ze. Yeah, mbonani ainchaka chana.
akunkelo coach layo strainayo asiyambonyela sibe
kutraina uncoach ogijimela iZimbabwe ifamisa iZimbabwe kumnandi kule themba lokuthi lathi ngilanga saphumelela.
Ngokubona kwami vile ngizaba ngubhuti nguya kwesikhathi vile ze sengiyimo ubhuti sibiza mina isiphamisa iZimbabwe.
Mpofu is among 2 Zimbabweans who qualified for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, with the other being Stephen Cox, who qualified for rowing. The Paris 2024 Olympics will be held from the 26th of July to the 11th of August. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
And we conclude sport with news that Brazil have parted ways with interim head coach Fernando Diniz and are looking for a permanent replacement. Diniz, who had a 1-year contract, was in charge for 6 qualifiers for the 2026 World Cup, losing 3, drawing 1 and winning 2. Brazil are in the 6th and final automatic qualifying place in South America for the World Cup. And Diniz had been combining the position with his role at Fluminense, the current Copa Libertadores champions. And that report concluding our look at sport. Have you started negotiations?
With the TV at home?
Yeah, the remote is now changing hands.
That's very true.
From the ladies to the gents in the house as
yeah.
the AFCONs kick off in Cote d'Ivoire next week.
Exactly.
Well, hope you'll be enjoying those matches. And otherwise, that's all we had for you on this edition of the News at 8. Thanks for joining us. Have a pleasant night.
Good night.